Hey, what's up, everybody? Mr. B here. So, welcome to the podcast. This is Modern Manhood with Mr. B, and I just really want to talk with men and boys and women about what it's like to be what I consider to be a virtuous and good man in modern society. It seems like there's a lot of people that seem to have a problem with how men are perceived and culture currently at the moment, and that's a little bit understandable. We have a lot of big voices right now that are currently pretty upset with the role feminism has played over the course of my lifetime. So I'm 42 years old. I have lived in a world where women have continued to progress and make strides in society in regards to leadership positions, in regards to education, and in regards to their overall presence in the workforce and in society writ large. And I am personally not one of these men that is upset about it. To tell you the truth, I think that it's reasonable. I think that it is something that we should be applauding. I think that it is something that we should be proud of as a society. The fact that we are moving to a place where men and women can get better together on the playing field of life. And so, whereas some men have felt like there has been a retreat in their ability to make money, there's been a retreat in their ability to find potential mates, there has been a retreat in just how we're treating in school and our success. So a lot of people are feeling uncomfortable with the role and want to blame feminism as as the main bad guy in today's society for young men that are struggling to make a way and to try and figure out a way. And so, like me personally, I come just a little bit of a background. Sorry, this is my first time. So anyway, I come from a family where my original father left for a period of time. My biological father um, decided to leave the family when I was about 6 years old. My mom eventually got remarried, and my stepfather was also reasonably abusive. So both physically and verbally. And so for a long time, I struggled with what manhood really looked like, mostly because I didn't have a really good picture of what positive manhood could be. And so, my two first role models were a man that left and then obviously a man that didn't treat me very well. And so it wasn't until years later, about 9 or 10, that I discovered martial arts, and I discovered one of my first positive male role models in my life at that time. And then later, when I was 16, I bumped into another positive role model, and then later in my 20s, I worked alongside another role model who we'll talk about. We'll talk about all of these guys in good time and the meaning that they had on my life and where they came to me as a young man. So, for the most part, I was largely raised in a female household by a working mother who worked three jobs to make ends meet. She was not around a lot because she was obviously at work. And so I am a product of being raised by the public education system, also being fed by the public education system. So there's a lot of me that is a product of uh, how people in society used to care about young men and women getting fed in a place where like that might be their only meals for the day, breakfast and lunch at school. And so but then like I said, I was raised almost strictly by my mother and my grandmother and my other grandmother on my father's side, who still chose to have a relationship with us despite my biological father, not being around. And so my view on modern masculinity is shaped a lot by how my mother and my grandmother raised me. And so I feel very strongly that it is important for men to uh, to have this perspective and to understand that it's not always about us, and it's not always about what we felt like we were promised by older generations of men who came before us and had things given to them in a different way. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing, but like I feel like men of my generation and the generations after us feel like we've gotten a raw shake, which is why we're gravitating towards your Jordan Petersons, your Joe Rogans, other guys in the manosphere that really have this kind of vitriolic viewpoint towards women in our society and the progress that they've made. And number one, I don't think it's a fair assumption. Like, I don't think it's fair to blame women for the progress that they've made. Um, I feel like there's a fair, I feel like there's a fair argument to be made about how men are getting left behind and how we can address that and fix that. But I don't think that it's a societal woe in as so much that I think that it falls on men. Um, my thesis for how we should be men and we should act masculinely in society, it comes from a place of competition. I am a martial artist by training. I have been training in martial arts since 1992. I'm 42 now, so almost 33 years. It's been an enormous journey for me, but I've always felt like, as a man, it was really important to show up and show up with intention. Obviously, that stems a lot from the fact that my original dad wasn't ever around, and so he was gone. And so in order to not be like him, my effort and my idea was to just show up, like do the thing that you say you're going to do. Show up for school. Show up for training. Show up for your team. Show up for your sisters and your mom and whoever else it is that might may or may not need um, assistance in their life. And so show up like that. That was always a really strong thing for me. It's still a strong thing for me as a father these days. Like, it's very important that I show up for my kids and give them something that I really didn't have, particularly this age that they are now. And so showing up, I think that that is rule number one for men. Be present in everything that you do. Be present in society. I understand that it's enormously difficult to want to be present right now when it feels like everybody is upset at men for just being men and wanting to compete and having these tendencies to want to rough and tumble play, the way that we joke with each other and kind of, you know, knock each other around a little bit, can be seen as toxic. Like, I get that, but I feel very strongly that men should be really trying to elbow out in a way that shows that we're present and that we want to be a part of things. Like, we should want to be a part of school. We should want to be a part of teams. We should want to be trying to better ourselves in ways that make us better. I can tell you purely anecdotal evidence. I'm not a scientist at all, but like, I feel 100% better when I do the things that require me to show up. So, like, if I'm going to work, right, I've got to take a shower, I've got to brush my teeth, I've got to put on clean clothes, I've got to put down, I've got to put down my phone for a minute or my video games. I love video games, by the way. I've got to put that stuff down, and I've got to make an effort to show up for the day for myself. Okay. Like I am not me showing up for me, going to work, being here on this podcast, showing up for my karate students in the studio, showing up for my kids, showing up for my wife. Like, yeah, that is the motivation, right? Like, but really at the end of the day, I am 100%. Anytime I do that kind of stuff, I am showing up for myself. I am showing myself that I can do these things that sometimes I don't really want to do. I mean, seriously, like, who wants to go to work every day, right? Like, that's tough. But and then, yeah, there are days, like, I'll admit, okay, there are days that I don't want to shower. Okay. And so, like, I get the urge to do the easy thing, to withdraw, to be like, oh, everybody hates men and everybody hates this and everybody complains about how we act and do things. And I don't. ever feel like retreating is the best plan. Anytime I have ever withdrawn, whether it's from like withdrawing from teams, withdrawing from um, workplaces, withdrawing, like when I just want to be in my bubble at the house, that's when I find that I really notice my own struggle, and I'm just like, and it's really easy to let it compound from there. Like I can let myself kind of go and go, oh man, it's easy to throw my pity party when I haven't showered, when I haven't moved from my bar, and I haven't like really done anything. I haven't eaten well. It's really easy for that pity party to expand on itself and really begin to take over for the day. So when I say show up for you. Take that shower, brush those teeth, put on clean clothes, and go do the things that you're supposed to do. And I can understand maybe if you don't have a job or maybe if you're not attending school, it can be enormously difficult to have things that encourage you to show up for yourself. But even if you don't, I can remember back in COVID when I had to accept unemployment benefits for the first time in my life, by the way. Um, like that was an enormous blow to my identity, what I felt like was being a man. And yeah, that's when I first started to like notice like how easy it was to just kind of sit back and be mad at everything and really just kind of let things go and just be like, ah, well, society's kind of crumbling around me. Like, what's the point of showing up? What's the point of doing everything else when like when it felt like it didn't matter? And it wasn't until that I had to start advocating for myself in an effort to save my house, in an effort to save my marriage, to make sure things didn't go by the wayside, even while I was losing a karate studio due to uncertainty. Like when I found the practice of journaling just to kind of move forward. So I understand that I'm getting kind of all over the place here. Um, but like there were things that I began to do to show up for me that reminded me that I had value. Okay. So when you take the time, when you really try hard, when you really make an effort, people notice that effort. I'm also a real estate agent, and one of my main broker is always giving me the cliche, right action leads to right results, right? So, and those results don't always make themselves apparent, but like anytime you're working towards a goal, it feels really good. And so whether that goal is to, start a business or to do something that you feel is meaningful to yourself, whether it's like, okay, maybe you like video games and you want to learn how to stream online and create a YouTube channel or a TikTok channel as a means of generating revenue. Like there's audiences for that. We've seen it online. It is extraordinarily difficult in that kind of space, but you can totally do it. There's ways to go and show up for yourself and what you're interested in and be a man about it. Okay. And for me, the one of the strongest tenets of being a man is 100% showing up for yourself, because if you show up for yourself, you show up for other people, and you'll find that as you feel good about yourself and you show up and you do all those things that you know that you're supposed to do in order to feel good about yourself and to feel confident about yourself, like things will begin to happen from there. Like I said, those simple things. I know I brought up Jordan Peterson as kind of a person that I'm antithetical to or don't necessarily agree with. There are things that Jordan Peterson mentions, like things like making your bed, things like taking time to bend over and pet a cat. Like those are things that demonstrate value and empathy. Like when you reach over and pet your cat or a cat in somebody's house, like you are demonstrating a fair amount of empathy in that moment. And whether or not like empathy is a bad word for you, like that's important for men to express. And so, but then, yeah, the simple thing of making your bed, be proud of the small victories that you get every day, because that right action is going to lead to right results. So, in short, guys, episode number one, summarize it up. Show up for you. Okay. That is the number one most important thing that you can do as a man. Show up for yourself. All right. Do those little things that give you confidence, that give you pride, And pride is not a bad word either. It is okay to have some pride in your appearance. It is okay to have some pride in work that you've done. Okay. Like it is okay to be proud of yourself. All right. So do those things that make you confident and proud. And when you do that, you'll notice that that confidence carries over into other things. All right, guys. Please share this with anybody else if you found any sort of value in it at all. We very much appreciate it. Please support the channel by subscribing. And until next time, y'all, train hard, fight fast, score first. Awesome.